This is a special Shabbat because it is the first Shabbat of the month of Nisan, the month where we celebrate Passover, as Rabbi said, only a couple weeks from tonight. Because of that, we read a special part of the Torah in addition to the regular part of the Torah, Vayikra, that you can see our beautiful living Torah turn to the construction of the Mishkan. The passage we read has to do with Passover, this special passage, getting ready for it and celebrating it and remembering it for generations. So one of the instructions that we're given in this week's special reading is not only not to eat chametz, not only not to eat leavened bread, the normal kind of bread, the bread that has had time to rise, but also to rid our houses of chametz, to actually take it all out of our house. We read that passage on this Shabbat to give everyone 2 weeks' notice that we have to complete this mitzvah of ridding our spaces of this leavening. As time passed, traditions have developed that took this mitzvah to a whole new level. Our rabbis of old were aware that sometimes we drop crumbs. I don't know if everybody drops crumbs the way people in my house drop crumbs, but sometimes there are crumbs. And those crumbs of chametz, those little bits of bread that have fallen into cracks and nooks and crannies in our house, have to be cleared out too, so we can really be chametz free. That's why some people use a candle and a feather to get into those little corners that are hard to see, to really seek out all of this stuff and enter Passover, which starts in 2 weeks, with a clean chametz-free house. So while this is sometimes tedious and also sometimes fun, it also is really important. And not just for our houses. Other rabbis have said that Passover is a time for cleaning up other kinds of crumbs and other kinds of messes, not just the ones made by those real-life breadcrumbs. So if we look at the difference between chametz and chametz and matzah, I brought some so everybody can see, right? Turn this way, you can really see, right? If we look at the difference between these two kinds of bread, we can see that the difference is mostly in the thickness, mostly in the size of these entities. They have the same ingredients, as we know, but one has gotten all puffed up. One has risen and one has not. Another difference, I might add, is that if you eat a whole lot of this, you might feel a little fuller than if you eat a whole lot of this. But that's just how it goes. I think we all know that. And on Passover, our tradition says that we should look at all that puffed up mess as a symbol of how sometimes we have too much in our lives. Too many possessions, too many things, too much pride. Sometimes our rabbis teach we drag around more stuff than we need. And Passover is a good time to get back to basics. This chametz hunting in our houses and our minds suggests that we ask ourselves some really hard questions. What things do I have too much of in my room, in my house, in my life? Do I have things that don't belong to me? Do I have things that I got by being dishonest to someone or unkind to someone? Have I made myself so big and puffed up and important that I have forgotten to think about other people and how they feel, or about God? How can I clean my house, my room, my heart, my life, so that what's left is exactly who I am and who I want to be, the most fundamental and sacred part of me? Those are not easy questions to ask ourselves, no matter what age we are. That's why we designate this special time of year, this little pocket of time, to ask those questions and devote ourselves to really trying to answer them. Judaism is a religion that is based on the idea that giving extra responsibilities and special jobs to do to us is a gift from God. It's the way that God shows that we are special to God, to have those responsibilities and extra jobs to do. So I hope and pray that by taking on this responsibility this year, as many of us will, we find ourselves on the other side of Passover, having made our lives a little cleaner and, ironically, a little fuller too. Shabbat Shalom.